structure of story. Just recall your pleasant childhood days when you heard bedtime stories from your mother or your grandmother. That has made us to read storybooks in your own mother tongue, English or in other languages. Those who have read storybooks in different languages would have noticed a pattern in the books or novels. If you open any storybook of any genre, the basic rules are the same, and by basic rules I mean the structure of the story. No author would have written a book in a whim. They take their time. While their rough storyline might be in any manner, the story must be written following the rules described in linguistics. Even a slight deviation is not preferred, as this pattern is required to make a story sensible. The contents of the story must follow a certain sequence to keep the reader interested in the story. Let us consider a murder story. If the murderer was revealed at the beginning of the book, would you continue reading it? No, you would not, because there is no sense of mystery to keep you reading. This is precisely why learning the structure of the story is important. Even short stories need the prescribed structure. In this chapter, we will learn the structure to write stories. From this chapter, you will have a basic idea on how to write a story. But as you know, to write any story, the first thing you need is imagination. Imagination is the first step to write a story. Next, you need to draw a rough draft. Once this is done, the story should be structured as defined by linguistics. Let us now discuss the structure of story in detail. Narrative structure. The narrative structure is the basic structure of any story, play or films. Narrative structure, a literary element, is generally described as the structural framework that underlies the order and manner in which a narrative is presented to a reader, listener or viewer. The narrative text structures are the plot and the setting. Generally, the narrative structure of any work, be it film, play or novel, can be divided into three sections. This is referred to as the three-act structure: setup, conflict and resolution. The setup is the first step and is referred to as Act 1. In this stage, all the main characters are introduced. The character sketch is formed in the stage. The reader gets a general idea of the characters and the personalities in this act. It contains the primary level of characterization. This involves exploring the characters' backgrounds and personalities. A problem is also introduced at this stage. This problem or plot drives the story forward. Narrative structure is of two types. They are linear and non-linear structures. Linear narrative structure is the general structure a story follows. It follows a step-by-step fashion of the story. A non-linear narrative is one that does not proceed in a straight line, step-by-step fashion, such as where an author creates a story's ending before the middle is finished. Flashback movies are often confused with true non-linear narratives. Although they appear to open very briefly with the ending, flashback movies almost immediately jump back to the very beginning of the story to proceed linearly from there, and usually proceed past the supposed ending shown at the beginning of the movie. A classic example of a non-linear narrative is the book Pulp Fiction. The book is apparently with three short stories which, upon closer inspection, are actually three sections of one story with the chronology broken up. No flashbacks are involved. Next, let us see the basic structure of a story. There are 6 basic steps to construct a perfectly structured story. First one, characterization. This is another term for character sketches. It is important to know the different forms of characters used in literature before you start analyzing characterization. A character can be protagonist or an antagonist. These two are the main elements of a write-up. The protagonist is a person around whom the plot revolves, while his or her opponent is known as the antagonist. Sometimes authors introduce a character in their works of fiction or in poems which is defined as a persona. He explains his or her attributes both directly and indirectly to make readers understand the persona. A person who foils the activities of the protagonist is known as the foil character. In literature, other means are also used to define a character, types of characterization. It is important to know the different forms of characters used in literature before you start analyzing characterization. A character can be a protagonist or an antagonist. These two are the main elements of a write-up. The protagonist is the person around whom the plot revolves, while his or her opponent is known as the antagonist. Sometimes authors introduce a character in the works of fiction or in poems which is defined as a persona. He explains his or her attributes both directly and indirectly to make readers understand the persona. In literature, other means are also used to define a character. It can be done by implementing 3D methods, dynamism and static techniques, thereby giving rise to new forms of characters. Information on different types of characters is conveyed by characterization. Direct characterization. While employing various narrative techniques, the author uses either direct or indirect forms of characterization. In direct characterization, the author explains the personality of the character directly. He defines the traits of the character by using adjectives extensively. You will understand it from the following sentence. For example, consider the following passage. The impatient girl always misbehaved with her calm and quiet brother. The patient mother had to bear this every day. In the sentence, the girl, boy and their mother have been characterized directly. Impatient, calm and patient are the adjectives used to describe the girl, her brother and the mother respectively. Indirect characterization. Indirect characterization is a bit complex than direct characterization. In this case, the reader has to understand the nature of the character by his thoughts, speech, appearance, role action and his influence on other characters present in the plot. You will often come across such examples where secondary characters deliver a soliloquy to define the protagonist, or the protagonist himself delivers a monologue to symbolize his or her character. Let me give you a general example. I am paying today for my acts of cruelty. I have been treacherous all my life and have lost everything today. The negative side of the character, that is treacherous and cruel, is portrayed in the sentence. He does not directly claim himself as evil, but his actions prove him to be an evil individual. Using conflict. Conflict, the crash of opposing forces, is a vital part of most plots. Authors often include several conflicts in an interesting story. 5 types of conflicts are defined. Let us brief through them. Character versus character. Here, a character faces a problem with other characters. Character versus self. Here, the character faces a physical or emotional problem or struggle. Character versus society. Here, a character faces a problem with a group or part of society like government, law, tradition, etc. Character versus nature. Here, a character faces a problem with some force of nature like cold, storm, wildlife. Character versus fate. Here, a character faces a problem with a force such as fate, God or luck. Plot development. The plot of a story is usually made up of a number of episodes or separate incidents. Those incidents are connected in some way so that the plot flows without any breaks. Most plots can be broken down into traditional 5-part plot structure. Let us now see them in detail. Exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution and denouement. This gives an introduction to the main characters, settings and rising situations of the plot. Rising action. This involves the events and complications that led to an important and dramatic point in the plot. Climax. This is a point of greatest interest and emotional involvement in the plot. Falling action. The events that develop from the climax and lead to the conclusion are described. Resolution of denouement. The final outcome which lies up any loose ends left in the story are described here. Setting. The location of the story is important and must be developed by the author. One can create a feeling for the setting by using lots of description. If it is well known, one can imagine the surroundings. Stories can be set in the past, present, future, in big cities, small towns, neighborhoods, in nature, etc. Theme. A theme is a central idea that runs through a story. It can usually be summed up in one key word or phrase. A story can have more than one theme, major or minor. Examples include love, survival, jealousy, friendship, etc. Genre. Stories are written and then classified into a particular genre such as horror, biography, science fiction, human interest, adventure, humor, fantasy, mystery, etc., etc. 7-point system. This system is also called the Danville system. This is like a simplified rule book of story writing for amateurs. Danville system has helped many amateurs structure their stories properly. Let us see what is described in his 7-point system. The 7 points are hook, plot turn 1, pinch 1, midpoint, pinch 2, plot turn 2, resolution. This is not the order in which a plot is developed through. Here is the order you work in: protagonist, antagonist, setting, resolution, hook, midpoint. Plot turn 1, plot turn 2, pinch 1, pinch 2. Danville's 7-point system is basically for the creation of plot in a story. The plot requires most of the structure. We have already seen the part of the story in which characters and the settings are described. Now, we will see the method of plot creation. Resolution. This is the climax, not the denouement. Everything leads up to this point and the reader needs to know what happens here and whether it is plot based external conflict or whether it is character based internal conflict. Hook. This is the opposite state of the resolution, automatically creating an arc of progress. You must get your readers invested in the story with a hook or risk them putting your book down after the first few pages and never buying another written by you. Midpoint. This is where your characters move from reaction to action. They realize they need to change something, fix something, make something happen in a mystery. It is where the sleuth takes the case. Plot turn 1. This part deals with the interaction of the conflict. The character's world changes through meeting new people, a call to adventure, confronting a new idea, learning secrets, whatever you want. Plot turn 2. Here, your character obtains the final thing to do, the thing he must do in the resolution. How is that for vague? It is the last piece of the puzzle before he can move on to victory. It could be realizing the power is in you or grasping victory from the jaws of defeat. Your character may not even realize that he has everything he needs at this time too. Pinch 1. A pinch is when something goes horribly wrong and forces your characters into action. Often the villain is introduced here. The bad guys attack, peace is destroyed and someone is put into serious danger. Your characters surmount this problem using powers they already have to help them prepare for bigger conflicts later on. Pinch 2. Here you add more pressure until the situation seems hopeless for your characters. Their first plan can fail, their mentor could die, and villains seem to win. You are putting your characters into the jaws of defeat. Make sure the teeth are pointy. Their victory cannot be easy, or the reader will feel cheated. This will keep the reader engrossed in the book. The plot turn, pinch structure facilities the use of try or fail cycles. The main character should try or fail at least twice before achieving his goal, or otherwise the goal might be too easy for the reader to care. During the course, you may use the fails to demonstrate consequences. Choose wisely, or else to include subplots. You may overlay the 7-point structure one on top of another. A good thumb rule is that a resolution of one plot comes at the pinch of another. For instance, the main character might manage to do something to achieve something as another aspect crashes. All stories contain 4 elements that can determine structure, milieu, idea, character and event. While each is present in every story, there is generally one that dominates the others. Which one dominates? The one that is cared by the author the most. This is why the process of discovering the structure of a story is usually a process of self-discovery. Which aspect of the story matters most to you? That is the aspect that determines your story structure. Let us take each element in turn and look at the structure that would be required if that were to be dominant element in your story. Structure 1. The milieu story. The milieu is the world, the planet, the society, the weather, the family, all the elements that come up during your world creation phase. Every story has a milieu, but when a story is structured around one, the milieu is the thing the storyteller cares about most. For instance, in Gulliver's Travels, it mattered little to Jonathan Swift whether we came to care about Gulliver as a character. The whole point of the story was for the audience to see all the strange lands where Gulliver travelled, and then compare the societies he found there with the society of England in Swift's own day and the societies of all the tales readers in all times and places. So, it would have been absurd to begin by writing much about Gulliver's childhood and upbringing. The real story began the moment Gulliver got to the first of the book's strange lands, and it ended when he came home. Milieu stories always follow that structure. An observer who sees things the way we would see them gets to the strange place, observes things that interest him, is transformed by what he sees, and then comes back a new person. This structure is most common in science fiction and fantasy, but it also occurs in other types of novels. James Clavell's Shogun, for instance, is a milieu story. It begins when the European hero is stranded in medieval Japan, and it ends when he leaves. He was transformed by his experiences in Japan, but he does not stay, he returns to his world. Other stories are told along the way, the story of the Shogun, for instance, but regardless of how much we are drawn into those events, the real closure we expect at the end of the story is the main character's departure from Japan. Likewise, the Wonderful Wizard of Oz doesn't end when Dorothy kills the Wicked Witch of the West. It ends when Dorothy leaves Oz and goes home to Kansas. As you conceive and write your own story, if you realize that What you care about most is having a character explore and discover the world you have created. Chances are this structure is your best choice. When writing a Melu story, your beginning point is obvious when the character arrives and the ending is just as plain. When she leaves, or in a variant, when she decides not to leave, ending the question of going home. Such stories are typically most effective when seen through the viewpoint of the arriving character, as she will be surprised by and interested in the same strange and marvelous and terrible things that engage the readers. Structure 2, the idea story. Idea stories are about the process of seeking and discovering new information through the eyes of characters which are driven to make the discoveries. The structure is very simple. The idea story begins by raising a question, it ends when the question is answered. Most mysterious follow this structure. The story begins when a crime takes place. The question we ask is, who did it and why? The story ends when the identity and motive of the criminal are revealed. When writing an idea story, begin as close as possible to the point where the question is first raised and end as soon as possible after the question is answered. Structure 3, the character story. Character stories focus on the transformation of a character's role in the communities that matter most to him. Sure, in one sense, stories are almost always about one or more characters. In most stories, though the tale is not about the character's character, that is, the story is not about who the character is. Take for example, the Indiana Jones movies. These are not character stories. The story is always about what Indiana Jones does, but never about who he is. Jones faces many problems and adventures, but in the end, his role in society is exactly what it was before, part-time archaeology professor. Structure 4, the event story. In the event story, something is wrong in the fabric of the universe. The world is out of order. In classical literature, this can include the unnatural murder of a king by his brother, Hamlet, or of a guest by his host, Macbeth, the breaking of an oath, Havelock the Dane, the conquest of a Christian land by the infidel, Kinghorn, the birth of a child potent who some believe ought not to have been born, Dune, or the reappearance of a powerful ancient adversary who was thought to be dead, the Lord of the Rings. In all cases, a previous order, a golden age has been disrupted and the world is in flux, a dangerous place. The event story ends at the point when a new order is established, or more rarely when the older order is restored, or rarest of all when the world descends into chaos as the forces of order is destroyed. This is the basic structure of any story and the 4 types of structures that are mildly modified to suit the storyline more. So, we have come to the conclusion of this portion. Students, in this chapter, we dealt with the structure of a story. We first saw what a story is. A story is a production of a sequence of events that can be a result of imagination or experience or both. You now know that the first step to a story is imagination. For a story to be good read, it should be properly structured. For this, the narrative structure is usually implemented. We briefed through the 2 types of narrative structure, them being linear and non-linear narrative structure. We then discussed the different steps of the story structure. We saw that characterization is very important in any story. There are 2 modes, direct and indirect characterization. We discussed the other parts of the structure, namely conflict, plot, setting, theme and genre. Each of these parts is important in giving story a shape. We then discussed in detail about the 7-point system by Donwell. This system was introduced by Donwell to give a proper structure to the plot of a story. This is also called the little handy rule book of amateur authors. We then discussed the 4 basic structures of a story, citing examples using famous books. So, now you know how to structure a story. Story writing not only enhances the imagination, but the use of vocabulary as well. Thank you.